I figured I'd say this since I heard somebody on the internet talking about the Mandela Effect again. It was specifically about like the Berenstein bears. When I've noticed something, whenever it's the thing about the word Mandela Effects is it's always the word they think it was is always the word that's easier for your brain to recall it as. Like there's a sterling silver, there's not serling silver. You're never gonna. Where else do you see the word serling? So your brain is gonna naturally change it to sterling. So it's a brain plasticity thing, like the Berenstain versus Berenstain. Like, where do you see Steen, like Stein, whatever, is way more common than Stain. Where do you ever see Stain as somebody's last name? So your brain's just going to change it to something that it more easily recognizes. So this isn't going to apply to all Mandela effects, but it's just the one with words. If it was the opposite, where if it was like, oh, I always remembered it as sterling, but it was actually, or I always remembered it as serling, but it was actually sterling the whole time, I would find that a more convincing argument for this whole Mandela shit. But it's never like that. It's always the easier thing. If there's any, what do you call it, like contrary evidence of that says they do make it a less, like they end up making it shit. No, my brain's off, fucking it up. If they ever recognize it as something that would be less well known, then somebody can bring that up. But I'm trying to think of some more. I'm sure there are, but Sterling, Rod Serling is the big one, and the Berenstain Bears. So in both those cases, it's because they changed it to something that they're more familiar with. Their brain plasticity just, it's like, okay, Sterling, and it just naturally adds a T. And so in those two cases, at least, it's, that's the obvious answer to those. At least the other ones, I'm not getting into, but I was just thinking of that, just the word ones. So